So requirement is that you want to move your on-premise data to cloud. Okay. And so there are multiple ways to do it. So as you're looking to move it to S3, the best way that I can suggest to you, use some third-party tools. Okay. Third-party tools in the sense you can use Apache Talent, you can use Data Stage, that is actually a legacy tool only. You can use Informatica, like all those kind of ETL tools you can use. Okay, just connect these ETL tools with your on-premise data sources and your S3. That is one part. Now your question is whether we should convert it into Parquet. Yes, you should convert it into Parquet because Parquet takes less space. Less space means less money per month that you have to pay to your AWS. Okay, then we have this question of Glacier. So we say you have no requirements of very frequently reading or writing part.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here only thing is that there is cheapest option available on S3. But in case if you want to read that file, okay, in case if you want to get the access to that data, you might have to wait for some time. Sometimes doesn't last for days. It might just be if you use instant of like instant retrieval class,
Yep.
you might have to pay pay a bit extra, and you might be getting access to your files within a minutes. Okay, and sometimes you can say in seconds also you will get that, but you can consider some minutes of delay will be there. If you store that in a Glacier flexible class, you might expect a delay of hours, not more than 10. I mean 7 8 hours or 10 hours like that.
Yeah.
So it depends on the requirement of your project, that how much delay they can afford.
Okay. But the Parquet file storage in the format of like how suppose policy table CSV or claim table CSV something. I mean, based on the table names, the storage will happen, or like again the file will be stored again in like partition wise, date wise, something like that.
That you can handle from your ETL tool. So what we did in Accenture, we were working on some project. Okay, uh, we were pulling data from SAP HANA and pushing it into S3. So in Talent, we had this functionality to change the file format, to do some transformations on your data. It's kind of an ETL tool. Okay, and decide partitions if you want, naming conventions that you want to give to your files, all those things actually you can handle from that tool.
Okay, so it's mandatory use any third-party tool because it's became expensive, right? Rather than if you use like existing glue infrastructure, is it fine? Is not fine?
See, glue is also not cheap. You have to pay some dollars there also. Then it
Okay,
depends on how much data you have to migrate, how much data it is, approximate size.
right.
So what is the size of data that you have?
I think approximately they got some 1 terabyte on it, or like of past 5 years, 5 to 10 years. Yeah.
Ah, then you might have to dig into cost perspective side,
Mm.
and that you digging have to do. And same
Yeah.
thing actually you can achieve with glue also, but glue you can connect with your on-premise systems and you can convert all those things here also.
Okay, okay. Because this is the current real scenario where my client has been raised last week, so discussions are going on actually.
Okay, and if I suggest you one kind of a tricky way to do it,
Mm.
you can have EMR systems.
Okay,
Okay.
Yama. Okay. Mm.
Okay. On EMR, you can have your PySpark jobs, connect that EMR with your on-premise, and start migrating on your S3. Why I'm suggesting this? Because EMR can handle this much data very easily. It will be faster than Glue. Okay, and even if
Okay.
you launch your EMR cluster for let's say 1 month, I think that should be good enough for you to migrate all this data.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So once
Obviously,
after migration, we can switch off that cluster. Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
And even migration scripts, you write those PySpark scripts on a sample data on
Mm.
create some POC scripts on Glue, and then execute the full data load using EMR systems. That you can try actually. And if your data load is like something like you can afford that it gets terminated in between, you can also go ahead and choose more cost saving options using EMR spot instances.
Okay.
So spot
Right.
instance
Spot
concept,
is-
yeah. So it comes, spot instances.
Yeah, for a period of time. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are actually more cheaper than normal EC2 instances.
Okay. So on a summary, what you're suggesting is, use the existing infrastructure AWS and connect to SQL Server. So write some PySpark scripts and create, glue jobs, and we can run these under EMR cluster, compute nodes.
Yes, you can say POC can achieve from Glue, and then you can, because if you do POC, or either you should have a great developers who can convert, who can do this POC for you in 5-7 days, because it should not take more than that.
Right. Okay.
Because my point here is, if your developer takes 2-3 months just to finish POC, then EMR bills are going to be higher. Then it's better to on Glue.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Zealous. I think you have given some sort of clues to me. Yeah, probably I'll highlight in the meeting.
Yeah, and actually, this will need further R&D, because there might be very specific things related to your project.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
So let me actually recreate this, resume this redshift cluster.
I have one more question.
Mm-hmm.
Very quickly. When you say you finish your work in 2 hours, definitely you have given a lot of effort in understanding AWS and how everything is working. So, what was your approach to do so?
It takes practice, Varsa. It takes practice. Uh, how do I explain this? First of all, you should be able to convince your client that the work you are doing is not achievable in 2 hours. Okay. Uh, See, before working in IT, you should understand IT first. Okay. Initial years, freshers make these mistakes. They think if you master your technical skills, you will become king of this industry and you will rule everything here. Okay. But are you there? Varsha? I think she left. Okay, so I have to start from the redshift spectrum. This will take some time.
Sorry, my connection got closed.
Yeah, no worries. Actually, I stopped in between. Yeah, so I was saying, first of all, you should understand this industry, what it is, how it works. Okay. So initially, I was also like the same guy. Like I started my career actually from mainframes. So you might not know mainframes, but it is a kind of a very legacy technology, and it's a pure headache. Okay. There you have no great visualizations or nothing. Nothing is helping you there. It's kind of a raw language that you have to type. So one thing is that you can master your technical skills and you do a lot of work, finish your task soon as possible and give it to your managers or leads, or do not take holidays, or do overwork and try to get a great hike. That is never going to happen. Understand this process. Okay, even if you work 24/7, your colleague might get 10%, you will get 12% or maximum 15%. That's a different thing. Second thing which I was saying, you should be able to make sure that the work that you are saying, uh, it should be definable of 8 hours. It should look like that it is a critical work nobody else can do, and nobody can do it in 2 hours. Okay, that experience you will gain only after I mean that these skills you might these skills nobody can teach you actually. It's just that you get to know how to handle clients. Okay, like my client was also believing that magic happens and coding works. We pushed him so much, then they agreed. Like they were like, okay, I have this requirement, get back to me in 30 minutes. Like they are purely a BPO company. They have no idea about the technology. They think like the BPO guys work same way the technical guys work. It's not like that. Now, coming to this question, it is like the skills you have, the technical, you don't worry about the syntaxes. Like as I always say, I don't remember syntaxes. I try to create, or I try to solve that problem in my mind first, that what approach I'm going to take. So what is the basic mistake that developers makes? Let's say I'm giving you a requirement to write a code. Let's say the same requirement that you got in your interview that you have shared with me, that countries issue, okay, where we have to find the countries where in that group that particular country exists. What the mistake we guys make initially, that we start thinking about the syntaxes, what function I will use, what syntax it will be, and how I'm going to write it, and we start writing it. Okay, never ever do it. Understand the requirement, confirm the requirement with client, get that in written, maybe on some Jira or Azure DevOps or some tool, email, get it on written. Solve that requirement, solve that problem in your mind first, that how are going to approach this. When you're trying to solve that in your mind, then you will face some issues, blocked roads, and you might be thinking some other way of getting it out. And once your kind of flow diagram is ready in your mind, okay, then you can start coding it. That is going to make sure that you are not going to stuck in between. This is ideal way of doing it. If I give you an example of my juniors, as soon as they get the requirement, like if I'm giving the requirement 9 o'clock in morning, 9:01 they will start writing the code. 10 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the evening, client will come up with some requirement change, and whatever they have done in the complete day, it's gone. Again, they will start writing the code, and again the next the same thing will happen, and they will like again the code is gone. Okay, this is one thing. And let's say requirement is also not changing, but they have started writing the code and they haven't considered all the requirements or the scenarios in their mind. 90% work is done, but at the end they realize, okay, now this requirement can't be completed because I have coded this program in such a way that I can not achieve my 100% of work with this particular piece of program. Then they have to scrap that or make some modifications in between. And trust me, writing a program from scratch is a much easier task than in between modifying that and making some changes, because the chances of bugs increase here. Okay, and now those junior comes here and say, we were working 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, writing code day and night, and still we have got no appraisal. I mean, you're not going to get it. First, this is very sure. Okay, don't work like that. Don't work like idiots. Work smart. And another thing, you cannot work like any other also. Like if you try to work like me and finish my requirement in 2-3 hours, no, you can't do it. I mean, maybe you can do it in 1 hour also, and you can do it in 6 hours also, but there's no comparison. I'm not saying that I am better or you are better. It's not like that. I'm just saying there's no comparison. You cannot make any comparisons here. You might take your own time. You might use your own methods. You might write your own code and you might use your own path to reach that target. Okay. And by the way, same goes for salaries also. Never ever try to compare your salaries with your colleagues or with your friends. Okay, so if you remember in part 1, we had discussed about the introduction of redshift. We had discussed about the redshift architecture. We had discussed about the features, but we skipped this part of redshift spectrum. Okay, so now what is redshift spectrum? So suppose we have this use case with us where we have some table on redshift, okay, and then we have some file on glue. Now we are not interested in loading that file on redshift, but we want to join or do some operations on redshift using that file which is on S3. Okay, so in these kind of scenarios, we can use redshift spectrum. So this service allows you to connect with external data sources from redshift, which creates an external schema, and that allows you to connect and run your SQL queries on using Redshift's compute power, but data is still on that particular source. So,
Jalaj, can you repeat, please? I didn't understand.
okay. So let's say we have one table on Redshift, okay, and then we have some file on our external sources. For example, S3 is the great example. Okay. So when we have such kind of scenarios where we have our data on S3, okay, and then we have our Redshift data also, but we don't want to copy the S3 data onto Redshift. We just want to run some ad hoc queries on Redshift. Okay, that means we want to use the Redshift's compute capability. That is like it's very fast. It is very much capable of computing. But we don't want to copy data on Redshift. Okay, in these scenarios, we can use Redshift Spectrum. Redshift Spectrums allows you to connect your Redshift compute power with data that is residing on some external sources. Okay, so this means if we have some ad hoc requirements where we want to join our table or where we just want to run some queries on our file that is available on S3, okay, in these cases, instead of moving data to Redshift, we might go ahead and use Redshift Spectrum. Now you might say that why can't you just copy the data on Redshift cluster itself and then query it? Yes, you can do it, but Redshift has some limited storage. So let's say your project already is using 150 GB of storage, okay, out of 160 GB that is available on single node cluster. So it will be ideal situation to use Redshift Spectrum instead of using or instead of enhancing the capability or capacity of your Redshift cluster, which can use Redshift Spectrum. Okay, because only on ad hoc basis we want to query that particular file. So we might go ahead and create a Spectrum schema there and use it. Okay, this is going to make sure that your Redshift storage is not getting increased, but you can query that data. Okay, and just to clarify this, it is not directly connected with S3. It is connected with S3 via AWS Glue. In Glue, it is connected via AWS Glue data catalog. If you remember, I have also given you details about the data catalog that we can create a metadata tables there. Okay, that means still the original data is residing on S3. We just have applied the metadata. Okay, and then we can query the table. Instead of querying the table in Athena, let's say we want to query on Redshift. In that case, Redshift Spectrum can be used. Redshift Spectrum can be used on Lake Formation, DynamoDB, and some other sources. So if you have any questions here.
So on Redshift Spectrum, so if a table is stored, doesn't it have any physical storage? It's more like a view kind of pattern.
No. So if you use Spectrum, it's more kind of a view. But if you just copy data on Redshift, then it is physically stored on your Redshift cluster. The option that we are seeing right now, it's kind of a view. You can say it like that.
Okay, okay, okay.
Any more questions here?
No.
Okay, so let's see this thing actually practically, then it will be more, kind of easy to digest it. So my cluster is available now, and I'm going to go on query editor. If I come here, I should have that query. No, I don't have it. So this is the one that I had used. So if I come here on AWS Glue, and I will also need S3. So if this is my file inside my course bucket, inside my sale data folder. This is my file which I want to query on Redshift, let's say. Then first of all, I have to crawl this file using this option in crawlers option in Glue Data Catalog. I need to get that in form of table here. So my table is here. Okay, my table is here. Okay, this is my table name. Okay, and if I have this table, again reminding you, this is not a actual table. These tables are not storing physical data. Still, you can see data is stored on this particular S3 location. This is just giving you an impression that it is a table. Okay, do not get confused here. Then if you come on Redshift Spectrum and if you call this external schema, let's say you call this Airbnb schema. I'm not sure if I already had this or not. Let's add _2. And my sales database is, if you again come on Glue, database, it says Airbnb. Okay, I'm interested in this one. My database is going to be Airbnb. And this is the IAM role that I will be needing. Okay, so it's actually the same command. And if I execute this command, then if you see, I have got this Airbnb schema _2 as a schema. And if you see all those two tables which I had inside this schema here, if you see two tables I have here, I can see those two tables here also. And just to avoid the confusion, if you see this recording, it says data engineer May. So if I just go inside this bucket, so I actually just shown you the wrong bucket. In the same bucket, we have this Airbnb price. What is that location here? Yeah, this bucket and this Airbnb price. So this is my data location. So we have our data inside that location of this database and these tables. We have got available these tables now in Redshift. Okay, remember, data is not loaded on Redshift. It's just that we can query these tables. Okay, so if let's see here if I can query these tables or not. So if I am just going to use a shortcut here, I will say preview data. It does not preview data like this. I'm just going to call it insert into SQL, then select star from this table. Okay, and I might have to provide double quotes because we have hyphen in between, that I have to provide a double quotes here. I'm going to execute this query. So you can see I got 1499 rows back, and I have my data in correct format on AWS Redshift. Also, I can filter this data, group, join, or any query that I want to execute. I can do that. It is going to be faster. It's not going to be slower, and we are going to use the capacity, compute capacity of Redshift itself. It's not the compute capacity of S3, neither the compute capacity of AWS Glue Data Catalog. So yes, if you have any questions here.
It is just like ES3 query select, but the approach of connecting is different.
Yeah, but S3 query select is just to view the data. Here you can write any other type of query. No data size limitation. Complexity can be as much as complex. Do not compare this with S3 select.
Okay.
Jalaj, I have a small question. Like, okay, under this Airbnb database, we got two files. So that's why it's created its two table schemas. Yeah.
No, under this Airbnb database, we already had two tables. If you see, the locations are from different location. So
Yeah.
we have two different tables. So if I have this, I'm not sure if I have data inside this table or not. If I just click on this, if I have the data here, I will be able to, visualize the data here, but it looks like I have no data here because it's not showing me any preview data option. If I just click this and yeah, I can have the table data. Come on, Athena. Yeah, you can see I have no files here. Okay.
Right.
So I have no data here. I won't be able to query this table. Maybe I have some wrong data there. Kinesis. Let's just explore this actually. What is the bucket name? Engineer project. This is the one. Kinesis. Okay, actually I have various other files also, and I don't have any correct file. Maybe let me delete these unwanted files, and then I have to run the crawler again. Then it might work.
Okay, my question is like, suppose we got some airlines folder, I mean, in airlines bucket, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we got like the transactions of the passengers. I mean, the passengers information day wise. So day wise, the folder has been created in that. The transaction files will be loaded daily, basically. So and so that the travel these are the travelers passengers information like that. So if I suppose we are, I mean, since restricted spectrum is doesn't have an physical storage, it can directly export, I mean, data in work from S3 schema. So if I want to give a simple query, select star from so and so airlines where passengers traveled in business class, suppose. So here our the file layout is based on the date wise. Okay, so imagine there are 10 files, so that will interact the 10 folders date wise, and it will give you the list of passengers who traveled in business class, or just only like how only particular date parameter it will interact, like partition wise it will interact all the folders.
So it's very simple question actually. If you mention your location wherever, like be it in PySpark, Redshift Spectrum, AWS Athena, wherever you're mentioning location like this.
Yeah.
Okay, folder. Okay,
Yeah.
and mention it like this here.
Yes. Partition wise, yes.
Day to day, anything will work fine. Yeah, if you give this, only this folder will be read. If you give it on this, all the dates will be read.
Okay, so collectively, it will check all the dates, the passengers who traveled, on business class. It will give a list report.
Yes, complete files it will read.
Okay, right.
If you give it only this path, complete years file it will read. If you give it this path, complete months file it will read.
Okay.
So basically you can say any files inside any folder, it's going to read all the files.
Right. Okay. So provided all the folders, anyway, schema will be same. So it doesn't create any problem. Yeah.
Yes. In that case, it won't create any problem.
Okay. Right. So explicitly, we no need to define any DDL. You mean on Redshift Spectrum?
No DDL is required. So
Okay.
it's the table information it's taking from here. If you come here, if you again click on this,
Yeah.
Table information it's taking from here.
Yeah. Okay. But on Redshift, we need to create a table and load the data and then query, right? So that's the way traditional how we will do.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect.
So
Jalak, I have one question. Can you go back to the screen again, the table section? Yeah, here classification as a parquet. So how did you do that? Because so far I have done only CSV.
I mean it's just crawlers. Create crawler, name, and not yet. Add a custom classifier and choose add new classifier. Group CSV. Okay. Okay, I'll get back to you. I think we had this option of parquet. I'm not sure if they have removed it or like that, or there's another way because I'm not recollecting it right now.
Okay.
This is a bit interesting. I'll get back to you. Okay, this is I have done using AWS Glue. AWS Glue I had created this I have read the CSV file and I converted that into Parquet and triggered my crawler. So this I have done from AWS Glue. If you go back to your AWS Glue introduction code, where I have shown you how to create a visualized job, I have done it maybe at that time because it's in the bucket of May, and we have started this batch in May. So it's that same way. It is not done by a classifier from here because here we have no option of the Parquet. Okay, so I have done it via AWS Glue, not via crawlers.
Okay,
If you come here, visual job test. So if you see, I have S3 bucket and data logger is S3 bucket, and here I have selected my format as Parquet. Okay, and I have, if you select this option of create table in data catalog and choose a database and give a table name and save this job and run this, it will work and create a table for you.
okay.
Is it clear? Okay.
Yeah, sure. I will try that option.
Yeah. And ideally it should be there. If they are able to do it from here, there should be option of here also. This is a bit surprising. I think you also asked it earlier and I said it's no, it's not doable. Okay, maybe you can type dot parquet here and try it like this, or maybe just type parquet custom classification. Okay, and you can just create this classifier and use this classifier. I think it is they are doing it like this. Create a custom classifier and then use it.
Okay.
Okay. So actually, I had few more topics, but I think we have only 2 persons. Okay. And it's already, I'm not sure if I should go ahead and or not, because I have some example of SED1, very basic one, and not so complex one, but yes, one good example to see how we can execute queries. And then I had some examples of creating user-defined functions, simple ones, so you can have the basic syntax. You can change your query as per your requirement and then store procedures. So you suggest me how should we do it? Should we do it in tomorrow's class or should we do it now? Because now it's only, again going to take 30 minutes at least. Or maybe if we can utilize this time for some more questions. Maybe Bhaskar, you are seeing the recordings only. So if you have some more questions, you can ask those questions, or you can suggest me actually here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bhaskar, please let me know. I mean, should we go ahead or should we stop here?
Yeah, I think we are okay. Let's just we'll go through some previous recordings as well.
Yeah, because you are. And yeah, if you have some questions that you want to discuss with me, that you can actually go ahead and discuss.
Yeah, sure. I mean, actually, like I'm just saying the current scenario, right? Like they got robotics data actually there. Basically, the source is UiPath Studio, where the automatic
Yeah,
workflows.
I have on UiPath also. Yeah.
Yeah, the robo will run the automatic workflows, and they will load the data into SQL Server. So with SQL Server, on Power BI will invoke, and they will just give the some sort of fixed reports. So that is on legacy platform. But now they want to I mean, they have migrated to cloud on like a Power Automate. So what they want is so instead of they want to remove all this legacy SQL Server, Excel VBA macros for the listing reports and everything. So they want to introduce our data lake like on AWS, and then invoke Power BI, for the S3, and they want to generate the reports.
So UiPath to S3.
Yeah.
That's simple way. No need to go for third party tools because you're already paying for the UiPath.
Yeah.
You can actually do it. It's I'm sure
No,
because
no, I mean, no. UiPath is legacy. They have migrated the full data from UiPath Studio to Dataverse now. Dataverse, Power Automate, Dataverse. So
see,
Dataverse is the source for us.
okay, wait. If I'm not wrong, UiPath is not a database. It's just a tool that helps you to pull the data from any sources and
Yes,
it gets placed it there.
yes,
So if you are
API.
using
Yeah,
UiPath robots to pull the data from some websites or some web servers,
yeah.
directly connect it with S3 instead of pushing it into SQL servers. Directly push it into S3 buckets.
Hmm. But what they have done is, I mean, they have just decommissioned the UiPath because of the most security and the complaints purposes. They have moved the legacy UiPath to Power Automate. Dataverse. Dataverse is now transactional data store. Yeah, it's a Microsoft one. So that is where now the current data has been reside. Yeah, now Dataverse to S3, and then from S3 to Power BI. So that
You
is
can
what we.
use these example you can use now. Microsoft actually does have this is a different documented data in the SQL. So first, I will say explore this option that if database was can connect with your S3 directly. I mean, this here they have no answer.
Right.
Click add connection. Select S3 as a source target. Enter the necessary credentials. Access key and secret key is the one, and can connect it. So why
really? Okay. Yeah, because I'm just working on 2 projects, Jalaj. Actually, SaaS is my main core skill. Now I moved to, like 70-30 billing to AWS as well. So just, grinding myself, getting the stuff, what to do and what to. So just drilling myself actually.
No issues about that. So I think you can definitely try this option first because this is the simplest thing that you can do.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, they just told we want in S3, and S3 makes use of the Power BI reports. So that's what the client given a open statement. What to do, how you will transfer the data files, and what is this thing, compliance security is up to your part. You need to decide and come up with the solution. So yeah.
You have to create a glue data catalog here.
Yeah.
Okay. So data new update. There data other Python script. Insert the code below. Okay. Power BI web app and S3 connection. Yes, it does not connect directly. You have to install a connector on EC2 machines.
Oh, okay. Right.
There's no direct connection actually. One asset solution. Yeah, it's not directly or this method we can connect. Yes, actually this is exactly what we had done. So we had also had some data on S3 and we had the Power BI as our target, and we were actually having the ODBC data source connect stored on one of the EC2 machines, and then we were having these connections created. Okay, so it is not directly possible. You might be having
ODBC where you define like
on
in
EC2
Azure we have
machines.
that linkages, right? It's same kind of thing in AWS, anything like that.
No, so what we had done, we had used the EC2 machines to host this ODBC connection. Maybe we'll have to work or do some R&D here. Because I think you are hitting on a wrong side. Dataverse to S3 should be looking actually easy one. Just few connections you have to make and you should be good to go in maybe 1 week of POC should be fine.
Yes. Yeah.
But here you have the challenge. Power BI cannot read directly from S3.
Okay.
This you solve.
Yeah, because already the existing report setup has been happened, with Power BI. So just you want to like the same reports like lift and shift to the cloud.
Yeah, do not change the Power BI. In this case, I will say either use Redshift because Redshift can connect Power BI. My current product is using Redshift to connect with Power BI. They also did the same thing. They move from DB to IBM data stage to AWS Glue and Redshift, and then they connected Power BI. All those reports, all the logics are same. Same thing you can do here. Otherwise,
so you mean like from Dataverse, anyway, yeah. So same structure like raw, curated, industrial something, and then once after industrial, the bucket data will go to Redshift something or what like.
Yeah, you can use Redshift, you can use Snowflake. So Snowflake, I will say better option than Redshift because Redshift is a bit costly. You can more cost to optimize the Snowflake.
Okay.
Or maybe you can look
something we need to define. I mean, is something we need to exist Redshift over here for our reporting requirements, like where S3 cannot handle the reporting layer.
It's not your reporting layer. It's the issue with Power BI. Power BI has no direct connection with S3. Either you can use EC2 machine to host this connection. Okay, either you host this connection somewhere else and use this. But I'm warning you, this is going to be very slow. Your reports are going to be slowly.
Might be right.
So I'm suggesting you use a data warehouse, okay? Because you already mentioned that you have data in TBs.
Yeah.
Okay? Use a data warehouse, maybe use Redshift, maybe use Snowflake, or if some other way you can find it out, find that.
Right.
but there's no direct connection. This is, I'm sure, at least till the time I worked in that project, there was no direct connection possible.
Okay, okay.
Maybe try this thing, what this guy says.
Yeah.
I mean, don't trust this completely because I'm trying it out, but sometimes
Yes,
it's
yes. Now
wrong
everybody
answer.
is doing the same.
Because today I asked how to create a stored procedure in redshift, and in case it says there's no way to create it. Okay, this is, it has some way. Try it out this if you have access to Power BI, do this POC, then you should be going to good.
Sure, Jalesh. Yeah, that's what we are working on, a kind of POC early, just to showcase, my team. Yeah.
Yeah, but don't trust this. I will say focus more on the side, connecting
Yes.
to Power BI.
Yes.
So once your connection is successful, then only you should move ahead. Because this part is actually very clear. The tools that nowadays are getting created, and forget about the nowadays tools. Even the data stage, which is a very legacy tool, they have the access to S3. They can put data directly on S3s.
Yeah. Only our job is to give the feasible options. What are there? So ultimately, his stakeholder will decide based on his budget and cost. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that is a different thing. But I am now not getting what to say. Get data window, search of S3. Navigate to Azure S3. Okay, then select S3 and then click on connect button to proceed. Unnecessary connect, including access key, secret key, bucket name, region, then after necessary. Okay, try this thing. Try these steps. If it works, then it's great.
Sure.
Because this answer is also from 2019. Maybe they have refreshed their connectivity.
Sure. Yeah, I'll check. Yeah.
Okay, so actually we'll resume from tomorrow, same time, 9 p.m. and we will continue with our redshift part. Okay, I'm just repeating again. I'm going to show you how some examples of stored processor and some very basic example of SCD1. Okay.